It's the March edition of Dear Workery, and today I want to answer a question that I get asked all the time, not just by clients, but also by friends who are in leadership and management positions. So that question is, I recently hired someone and they're not a good fit. What are my options? The first thing I'm going to ask is, how long have they been employed? If it's within their first 90 days, it's typically easier to let them go, assuming that you have a clearly defined introductory period with the company that's outlined when they first onboard with you, or maybe it's discussed during orientation, things like that. Within that first 90 days, if you're having some major issues, someone not showing up at all, they're not putting any effort in, they have a really negative attitude, it's so much easier to let them go. You'll still need to document things, but it's much easier than if they had been with the company for, 6 months, a year, several years. Let's assume for today's purposes that they've only been with you for a couple of weeks. They are not showing up and they're just really not a good fit for your company. Maybe they're not meshing well with other people, or they're not playing well with clients, something along those lines. So if they are within that 90 days and you had that conversation, or it's been well known about the introductory period, what's next? So from here, you're going to want to make sure that you document why they're not a good fit. Whether you do that via an email to yourself, you have client feedback, you have some sort of documentation that shows why they're not a good fit, you're going to want to make sure that you keep that and that it's severe enough that it warrants termination. If someone shows up 2 minutes late to work one day in their first 90 days, that's really not something that's going to warrant termination. Make sure you document specifically what the issues are and keep that in their file so that you have that on hand if should they file unemployment, should they file a wrongful termination suit against you, file a complaint of some sort, anything of that nature, you've got everything documented. So if you need assistance with this process, or you aren't sure whether you can terminate someone or not, that's where I come in. You can feel free to reach out to Workery and we can set you up with a specific process that will help you navigate these type of situations.